We need it. Oxygen is why we breathe.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the formerly known as Like a Boss podcast, as we've now rebranded it to call it The Grit Files, Startup Stories. Well, it's not just about startups, because at some point, startups grow up to be big companies, just like the one that we have featuring today's guest, Trutek. You may know them better from their brand, which is Nasal Guard, a nasal spray that helps protect people against infections. And let's talk to Kanika Wahi, who is the Executive Vice President now at Trutek. Hi, Kanika.
Hi, Loralyn, and hi to all your listeners. Happy to be here today.
Well, let's get into this a little bit, because not everybody may be familiar with Nasal Guard or your role within the company. Why don't you give us some background?
Absolutely. Well, Nasal Guard is a drug-free topical gel that was originally founded by my father to be able to prevent my sister's seasonal allergies without the use of prescriptions and medications. And it was founded, I would say, in the early 2000s. And since then, we've been able to expand and grow and continue to, enhance the efficacy of the formulation. And I've been playing a key part in being able to expand from not only the topical gel, which is the foundation of our company, but be able to expand and take it on to being able to create different formats of the product, which will be launching soon, which are a nasal spray as well as a mask spray, utilizing the same nasal guard technology. So our company has certainly evolved over the years and been able to reach a wider range of audience.
Now, tell us a little bit about your educational background. I know you're a Rutgers grad, so, Jersey strong and all that good stuff. And in the
Right.
engineering aspect that you've done, how you came into the company, which is a little bit unusual that you've come into a company that a parent has established, but you came in with this vision on how to change it and grow it. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, by training, I'm a biomedical engineer. So we, as you know, in Rutgers, you really have to be able to, speak to a diverse group of audience and faculty. I really took charge, and I wanted to be able to build a path for myself that I could be able to find out how to problem solve, which is the cornerstone of biomedical engineering, combining biology with solving problems and overcoming challenges that any engineer would face on a daily basis. So I was able to utilize a lot of what I had learned in BME or biomedical engineering and be able to apply that going forward in my career and be able to really pinpoint and spotlight a chance for me to join our family's company and be able to grow it, like I mentioned, with the newer products and more innovation based on the tools that I had already gained at Rutgers Engineering.
Now, when you come into someone else's business, particularly a relative, that's got to
Sure.
create some unique learning experiences. Can you tell us what changed about yourself? How did you grow?
I think it's been a roller coaster, I would say. I think I do believe that there are interesting aspects of your relationship that you really have to be able to separate. And I think those are the daily challenges of being able to, hear an idea and be able to separate the fact that, this is coming from, my father, and I also have to see it from the commercial point of view and from the market point of view. So I think as far as I have learned to be able to, really take in a lot of his thoughts and ideas and try to rationalize and separate those two, be able to draw a line between my relationship as, the daughter versus the engineer's hat, and also now as a executive VP, I really want to be able to put my, I want to be able to have the perspective of our end consumer and the end customer. So I think those have been the biggest challenges of being able to separate those roles as someone in management in the company, as well as my role as a daughter outside of that.
If I was an alien on another planet and we were chit-chatting, maybe we were having a cocktail on the planet, and you were telling me what nasal guard is and what your role is as a biomedical engineer, can you explain it in a way that I'd understand?
It's actually pretty simple. It's a clear topical gel that's applied around the nostrils that is positively charged, and it blocks and stops airborne particles that are negatively charged, such as pet dander, dust mites, virus-sized particles, and other allergens from being inhaled into the nose. So you can essentially see it as you can consider it a Brita for the nose and your own personal air filter.
Oh, I like that. That makes the explanation clear. I've got a visual going now. So good. Kanika, if I asked you then a question, what's your kryptonite? What tears you down? What do you want to share?
I'd say people being, and as a whole, I would say there's a new obsession about being an entrepreneur for the sake of being an entrepreneur. I see that there is people jumping on the bandwagon. I find that to be something that is, counterproductive. I believe that there are people who don't have the right vision and don't have the right goals. I think their priorities, might not be aligned. I think that a lot of times people, are too quick to assume that entrepreneurship is for them. I think that that's something that's really frustrating.
I've been hearing a lot of that lately too, that entrepreneurship seems to have been overly glamorized, that people think, yeah, I'm going to go into it. I'm going to leave high school for this, start a company, I'm going to be a gazillionaire, straight
Right.
up to the top, right? That's the perception. And it's really far from the reality.
Right.
All right. Now I'm giving you an undo button. You got to go back in time into your life and you get to change one thing. What do you change?
It's a great question. I would say if I could change one thing, it would be to take more risk earlier on, especially that I knew that I had already been, really inclined to try biomedical engineering based on my skills and my interests. If I were to go back, I would like to be able to, expand that a lot further and be able to take more risks and get out of my comfort zone, because I think that's where most of the growth happens. So that would be the one change that I could see myself, making.
Okay. What in life has thrown you for your biggest loop? Kanika, what in your life has thrown you for your biggest loop? Like, what were you ill prepared for?
The biggest challenge, a part of being an entrepreneur, has been facing many setbacks as far as the timing of the market, being able to overcome many delays, such as, something unforeseen, such as, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the consequences of that, being able to reformulate, be able to continue the path, given all of these setbacks and challenges, has been something that our team has learned from, and myself included, to be able to really anticipate any curveballs or something that's completely unexpected. That has been something that we might not have been fully prepared for.
So how can our audience help you? Or do you have anything else that you want to share with our audience?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like your audience to be able to have a look at our website, nasalguard.com, to be able to learn more about the nose as the primary gateway for airborne particles, to be able to enter your system, and to be able to learn more about the science behind our technology, as well as the new product launches, such as the nasal spray and the mask spray that are coming in the first quarter of the next year. We'd also be, open to any feedback and any thoughts, on some of the products and the product information that they see. And, we'd be happy to, field any specific questions they may have, and really be open to being able to, be in the driver's seat of your own nasal hygiene and, take charge of their own health.
All right, last question. This one's a fun one.
Mhm.
Now we're going to look into your closet and you're going to describe the pair of shoes or boots or sandals or whatever that best represents your personality. Tell us about that pair of shoes and why it personifies who you are.
I'd have to say a pair of hiking boots, because I like to hit the ground running and be able to problem solve and really be able to stomp my way to be able to solve problems and get over some humps, which really requires a lot of power and strength. So I'd have to say my hiking boots.
Understood. I mean, being an entrepreneur takes a lot of grit. That's what this whole show is about. We are the Grit Files. All right. With that, thank you very much to Kanika Wahi, Executive Vice President at Trutek, helping create the next generation of nasal guard products. So thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Don't forget to follow Grit Daily News as well as me, your host, Loralyn Mears, everywhere on social media. And how about throwing 4 or 5 stars our way if you're listening to Apple or Spotify? Subscribe to our show. And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?